Hello! Okay, so today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. I'm going to do a different video. I'm going to show you how I package my soaps because I've never shown you that before. So I use, where have I just put that then? Oh, here we go. Okay, so I use a branded paper that I get printed with a local printer. So please don't ask me what this paper's called because I've got no idea. It's just like a thin, almost like a greaseproof, but it isn't greaseproof. A bit like a tracing paper, something like that. Anyway, I have it printed for me. Lots of people always ask, where do you get your paper from? Well, I have it printed because that's what I do. And I've been getting this stuff printed for years. If you find a local printer, you'll probably find someone that could do it for you if you want to package your soaps this way. Yeah, it's just my logo, my boot, which somebody designed for me, and I have them all printed up on big A3 sheets, and then I chop them into 4. So I get 1,000 sheets a time, which gives me 4,000 wraps because I chop them into 4. So I chop them to size. Sometimes they're chopped a different way. It depends what shape soap I've got, but generally I chop them into these rectangles, and then I got my soap. So today we're going to be packaging some Jamaican mocha because that's ready, and then I'm going to show you how I use my wax seal sticks to create my seal. I've got my seal here, and I use a glue gun because that's how you buy your wax sticks these days, so you don't have to mess about with the spoon and you know, a wax stick with the candle flame. You can just use these sticks that I buy from a company called Manuscript. I buy them wholesale from them, and I get through lots of them. So it's not a cheap sort of way to do things, but I really like the wax seal, so I continue to use them. I think it cost me about £45 a box, and I get however many, I think there's like 70 sticks or something like that, but they don't last very long. Like one of those sticks, I think I get about 5 soap stamps, that's about it. So yeah, we'll bring you in closer and you can see how I wrap them and stamp them, and well, I'll show my labels. I print my own labels. I used to get my labels printed as well with the printer, but I don't anymore because the cost was just ridiculous. And when you're making like lots of small batches, the last thing you want to do is wait for labels. If you've only made like 14 bars of soap, or however many I do now, 17 bars of soap, then the last thing that you want is to have to get them printed because you have to wait. So I buy blanks, and I've gone to this brown craft paper, and I use a company called Flexi Labels, where I buy all of my labels. So I changed every single label that I do, I print myself in-house, and they're all pretty much black and white. Like sometimes I'll put like some colour into them, but it's not very often because the cost can be extortionate. And just for soap wraps, you really don't want to be spending masses and masses on packaging, because it's going to be ripped off. You know, it's a paper packaging product. You don't want unnecessary packaging then, so you don't want to just, I like to keep things simple. So I'll bring you in, show you how I do it, and then if you've got any questions you can ask me below. Okay, so here's my soaps here, and I use the Scotch invisible tape because it's nice. And I just bring in a piece of paper. So like wrapping a present, it's very simple. I don't know why people ask for videos of this, but I suppose it's just interesting to see how people do it. But you know, it's like, isn't it obvious? I guess it's not. That's why people ask me to show you. But yeah, it's like this. So very simple. I don't bother taping those ends because I got my label, and waste not, want not, you know. So I take my label, and these are ready kiss cuts, so you can just peel them off. And all my info is all lined up ready, so you do have to be a bit knowledgeable about where you place your text and things like that, so you just work that out for yourself. I mean, they're here, so I've got my logo, my company name, Traditional Handmade Soap, the name of the soap, and then I love my little hand with my read all about it. And then on here on the back I've got scent notes, the ingredients list, my address, my web address, state that it's for external use only, and if irritation occurs, discontinue use. Then I've got my batch code, my PAO, which is 30 months, and my net weight. So everything is on the label. So I normally package a few, so let's just do these 4, and then hopefully the wax seal will be ready to go. It has to heat up a bit before I can use it. So I'll do like, just do a few of these and get them ready so I can show you. So it'll be a quick, simple video. But yeah, I mean, if you just want to use greaseproof paper without the print, you could do that, couldn't you? You could use whatever you like. Or I do like just brown paper. I think it's really nice. The only thing then, because you're making soaps with oils and fats, you might get grease coming through, you know, with the fragrances and things like that. So I would suggest, if you're going to use brown paper, then definitely put like a sheet of greaseproof inside as well, just to stop that happening. Because lots of people use boxes these days, because you can buy boxes pretty cheap. And I was using boxes, but because I always change the shape of my soaps, or, you know, not always, but I do like to sort of do different shaped soaps, boxes weren't really something that I wanted to keep using, because I like to have freedom of, you know, creating my labels, and for specific sizes then, I mean, rather than just having one set size in a box. So it comes out like this. That's not actually perfectly lined up at the moment, but we can mess around with it. I think people, just the customers that I have, generally appreciate that it's just all paper packaging, and you can either throw it in the recycling, or you can put it on in your burner or in a fire, do whatever you like with it really, but it's not going to harm the environment. And the inks are all vegetable based inks. So actually, I'm not sure about the toner that I use, because that's like a print. I'm not sure about the toner. I buy my toners from Toner Giant. Okay, so that's that, and then we will see if we can get a wax seal. So I keep my little glue gun with my wax seal here, and I always use like a lid of a jar, because it does tend to drip. As you can see, I've got little bits there, so just keep that there, so you can see what I'm doing. And I turn them on their side, so I leave one, well, not one side blank, it's just where the two parts of the label meet up. That's where I do my wax seal, and my wax seal is here. And I had this one made for me on eBay, funnily enough. There's companies on there that will do it for you. So you just squeeze the trigger like you would with a glue gun, and wait a second or so if you want to, and down you go. So if you've got lots to do, the only thing is this seal gets hot, and sometimes the wax has a tendency to stick in there, so I like to leave a sort of gap between each one of a few seconds, just so I don't have that problem. But you know, sometimes I do have that issue. So normally I'll have 3 lined up, and I'll go 1, 2. No, it doesn't trigger unless you've got one in the end as well. I have to remember that. 3, and then I'll go 1. So sometimes it drips down the sides, and I don't mind that at all, because I kind of like the look of it, you know. I like that oldie worldy look. So if the wax ever does drip down to the back of the soap, it doesn't bother me at all. I actually quite like it, as that one's going to do, look. So it'll go down. I don't want it to go all the way over the text, so you can sort of lift it, mess with it, but give it a second. These dry really quickly as well, the wax. Give it a quick blow, and then pop it back up like that. So each one, when they're all lined up on the shelf, they look really nice all together. And that's where I take loads of pictures on my Instagram of when I'm doing this, because people just love to see that wax seal. So that's how my soaps are wrapped. It's very simple, but I suppose it takes a lot of work before you get it to be simple. You know, you've got to get your paper prints, you've got to set up your label so that it fits the bar. So the app that I use is Publisher. I used to use Adobe InDesign, which I do still use. I know you can do this on Photoshop, but I learned to make labels on Adobe InDesign, and I still do use that sometimes, but especially if I'm going to get something printed. So for like some of my perfume labels, I still get those printed with the printer, because the quality I want on black, like I want black print, so I get them done with them. So for those I do use InDesign, so I can send over the raw file. But generally I use Microsoft Publisher, and it's as simple as that. So there you go. Any questions, leave them below. But so there you go. I will see you for the next video. Ta-ta.